Okay, then, let me start. So you have done amplitude modulation, some basics with regards to that, some basic experiments, and particularly doing that in Simulink and MATLAB. Now, today we'll be shifting towards the frequency modulation scheme. Since you have not, I think, gone through this in the theory class, so I'll be briefing in some introduction and some mathematical concepts behind it. Okay, so that we proceed a little slowly. The next lab, which will be there in the coming week, will also be dealing with frequency demodulation. So we'll have 2 weeks dedicated to the frequency modulation and demodulation scheme. And hopefully by the end of next week, you would have also done this in the theory class so that you can explore some different variations in it in a little bit better manner. Kindly tell all of them. I have been already 10 minutes or 5 minutes late, so tell all of them to be there in time because this is distracting. Okay, no issues. Let me start now. So, communication lab introduction. Okay, is my audio viable to all of you? Can you hear it clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have mostly in nature the different type of signals. They're usually analog in nature. For example, speech is there, audio is there. Okay, now if we have to send this information signal to our receiver, we need a modulation scheme. That must be clear in the theory class as well as in the corresponding or the earlier lab classes why we need modulation. So I'll not be going into that. However, the analog signal has three important properties by which we define any analog signal. They are the amplitude of the analog signal, which will define its intensity, the frequency, which helps in power determination, the phase that tells about its propagation. So these are the important characteristics of any analog signal. Now, if this analog signal is a carrier signal, if this analog signal is a carrier signal, then we change these three important properties to get different type of modulations. If we change the amplitude of this carrier analog signal, we will get amplitude modulation. If we change the frequency of the carrier depending upon something, then we will get frequency modulation. If we change the phase of this carrier, we'll get phase modulation. Okay. As of now, you have studied amplitude modulation, where you have modulated or changed or played with the amplitude of the carrier based on a message signal or a modulating signal. And today, what we'll be doing is we'll change the frequency of the carrier based on the modulating signal or the message signal or the baseband signal, you call it. Okay. Now, what are the advantages of this is that it will give us noise reduction and power efficiency, about which the theory classes will brief you or explain you all those things, that how it gives us noise reduction and how it gives us a little bit of power efficiency. However, historically speaking, Major G.H. Armstrong, uh, actually the need at that time in 1931 was that bandwidth was the issue. So they were exploring that there are whether after amplitude modulation there will be any modulation scheme which will require lesser bandwidth. However, they explored different things and they came up with the frequency modulation. The frequency modulation did the reverse, that is, it required a higher bandwidth. It required a higher bandwidth. However, it reduced noise and power efficiency. So this is you can see a historically different kind of a fact, that although they required bandwidth efficiency, but they got noise reduction and power efficiency from the amplitude modulation, from the frequency modulation. Its transmitter and receiver is a little complex than that of the amplitude modulation. Okay. So now what we will be doing is that we have a carrier, an analog signal. It has its frequency. We will change its frequency depending upon the modulating signal or the message signal. Okay. Now, this little bit of maths now in the corresponding 4 or 5 slides we'll have. So kindly be a little patient and just look at these things patiently. Now we have a overall modulated signal. I directly came to this equation because you have already studied amplitude modulation. So the overall modulated signal, after modulating it in the angle modulation scheme or frequency modulation scheme, we'll have Vc, that is the peak amplitude of the carrier, cos, that is how it will propagate. Then it is the overall phase, omega ct of the carrier plus theta t. Now this theta t, this one will be the one that will be affecting, we will be changing by the modulating or the message signal. Okay. Now here, as I say, that theta t, this plus theta t, this will be made a function. How? What kind of a function? We'll see. It will be made a function of VMT, where VM is the modulating signal or the message signal or the audio signal or the speech signal, whatever message signal you want to send across via this modulation scheme. Okay. These are then the parameters there. Small VMT will be what? A message signal, and we define it as a pure sine wave. Okay, with VM being the peak value of the modulating signal and it being a sine type. Okay, sine omega m t. Okay, now this is how it will happen. Direct frequency modulation will happen and direct phase modulation can happen. Now this is little important to understand because these are the two types, and these two are the types which are called as angle modulation. Overall, when we change this, let me again repeat so that there is no confusion that remains. We are changing this this theta t. So this is the overall, we are changing this overall, you can say phase. How we'll change it? Overall, we are changing the angle. So it is called angle modulation. Now if we change it, we can change it via two methods. Okay. So both of them I'll discuss. Now, if we vary the frequency of a constant amplitude carrier, okay, directly proportional to the amplitude of the modulating signal. If we change the frequency of this carrier and that frequency change is directly proportional to the amplitude of the modulating signal, then it is called as direct frequency modulation. Okay. What is direct phase modulation? When we vary the phase, now we'll see what is the difference between frequency and phase mathematically. When we vary the phase of a constant amplitude carrier directly proportional to the amplitude of the modulating signal, okay, then we get what? We get direct phase modulation. But important thing to mention here is that the change is in frequency. Change in the carrier is in frequency, but it will be directly proportional not to the frequency of the modulating signal, but to the amplitude of the modulating signal. So message signal ka, whatever message signal we have, its amplitude is important, and its amplitude will have the effect on frequency. We call it amplitude modulation, phase modulation, frequency modulation, because these different things of the carrier get changed, but they get changed by the amplitude of the modulating signal. So this is important thing. Okay. Next, we'll see how it is proportional to the amplitude. Okay. This is a very simple, and we'll have this in the experiment also. Now we have, you see on this left side, we have three lines, okay, coming representing the three sine or cos or sinusoidal waveforms. This being the one, okay, this being the second one, and this being the third one. Now you see the first one, if we start from the same point, the first one has a very lesser amount of time period, isn't it? The second one has it at number 2. And the third one has the highest time period, isn't it? Okay. This has the lowest time period, second one, and the third one. Why does this happen? If we take this center one, the center frequency or the center time period, okay, then this one which is ahead will have lesser frequency and higher time period. This will have higher frequency and lesser time period. So this is how it happens. This is the message signal, okay. This is the corresponding to 0. So we have the center frequency, okay. Now when the amplitude of the modulating of the message signal gets high, we'll have a dashed line here appearing here, and its time period will be this t minimum. And when it will be at its minimum value, we'll have t maximum. So t minimum will mean frequency will be maximum, and t maximum will mean that the frequency is minimum. So this is overall how frequency of the carrier will get modulated depending upon the amplitude of the modulating or the message signal. Okay. Now, what are these different things? You saw that equation in that? Yeah, please. Please.
So please read the last part again.
That figure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no issues. I'll just read that. Yeah. Let us take this as a carrier, okay? This is, for example, a carrier signal, okay? Carrier. And this is the message signal or the modulating signal, okay? Here, like this, okay? Now, if this is the overall frequency, or you can say the free carrier frequency, okay? This one, this central one. We have three ones there. This one, left one, central one, and the right one, okay? The central one is taken as the free carrier wave, okay? Now, if we increase the amplitude of the modulating wave and it goes to its peak, how frequency modulation will effectively take its effect is that it will make the center frequency to change. How? Via modulating scheme. How will that? We'll discuss the theory and the structure and the circuit of the modulator. But here I'm telling you what it will do. Okay. So when the signal goes high, that is the message signal, so what happens to this is this will go, the central frequency will have a lesser time period. If it has a lesser time period, that means its frequency goes high. So this is what it will be like. This one. This central one will become like this one, okay? So we'll have here. Now when the amplitude goes low, okay, this is on this side, okay? This is vertically. This is horizontal and this is vertical, okay? In the different orientation. Now if this goes low, what will happen is that the other component of the waveform gets generated and we'll have a spread spectrum, you can say, kind of. And this change in frequency, okay, will then be directly proportional to the peak to peak value of the modulating signal. Okay, Divya, is it, did you understand it?
Yes, sir. It's
okay, no issue. Now we have to define these different things. I told you that in the phase modulation and the frequency modulation, these things get changed. So the theta t we saw in the equation, theta t, okay, that is called instantaneous phase deviation. That is called instantaneous phase deviation, okay. What is instantaneous phase? Is the overall factor that was there in the cost term, okay. The theta t, which is outside the omega carrier, is just the instantaneous phase deviation, okay. But the overall instantaneous phase is whatever was there in the cos, okay, overall angle, omega ct plus theta t, that was the instantaneous phase. Now what is the instantaneous frequency deviation? Again, we have to take theta t and make its derivative, that is d by dt of theta t. That is why this dash in mathematics, you know, it is for the derivative. Now, if you do that, d by dt of theta t, you will get frequency. How? If you can do that by, here I have made a simple analysis by keeping the units up there. So we'll get this in hertz, okay? And instantaneous frequency, d by dt of the whole phase, okay? Whatever was there in the cost term. And this is what we will get, omega ct plus theta dash of t. So instantaneous phase is whatever was there in the cost term. Deviation is only related to plus theta t. If phase, then directly theta t. If we have to get the frequency, then frequency deviation, then we'll have to make the derivative of that particular thing correspondingly. Okay. Okay. Now what happens is in phase modulation. Okay. This theta t we have to change in phase modulation, because what is theta t? Just in the previous slide I told you what is theta t. Instantaneous phase deviation. deviation. Okay, so that phase deviation will be in phase modulation made proportional to VMT, small VMT. Okay, that phase deviation will be made proportional to small Vm of t. And when we equate it, we get a constant term, and that constant term is called sensitivity of the phase modulator. Sensitivity of the phase modulator. While as if we have to define frequency modulation, we'll change the frequency. And how is frequency given? The d by dt of the phase, what? Phase deviation. Okay, so that is what I got. And then here it will be proportional, not theta t, but d by dt of theta t, that is theta dash t, will be equal to a different type of a sensitivity parameter called k1, which is called frequency modulation sensitivity, while as k, it is called phase modulation sensitivity. Okay, so that will be proportional to this, and this will be proportional to VMT here via a different sensitivity parameter. Now note this k in the phase modulation. Okay, it will be having its value, what? Units. Theta t will be in radians and V will be in volts. While as this k1, it will have radians per second per volt. Okay, so these will have different units. These will have different units. Okay, now this is very important, these two equations. Now we write the starting equation again of the modulated, overall modulated signal. Vc cos of omega ct plus theta t. Now here theta t is the instantaneous, shabash, instantaneous phase deviation, and that instantaneous phase deviation was proportional to, here we derived it earlier. Okay, here we derived it earlier, here. Okay, k vmt, and vm, small vm, we write the overall value. Okay, so from here we will get phase modulation. Okay, so phase modulation will have Vc cos of omega ct plus k small vm, and small vm, when we expand it, it will be capital Vm cos of omega mt. So this is phase modulation. However, how can we also replace this? We can replace this now for, we derive for frequency modulation. If we have the same message signal, we'll have a different equation for phase modulation, and we'll have a different equation for frequency modulation. Same signal we have, okay, same VMT we have. We'll have a different equation for phase modulation, and we'll have a different equation for frequency modulation. Now we can write plus theta t, we can write integral of theta dash t, so that we can define it in terms of instantaneous frequency deviation, isn't it? So that is what I have done, so that we get accordingly the different parameter. And theta dash t can be written as k1 small vmt dt, as I told you earlier. K1 you can take out of the integral because it is a constant. Okay, integral, now vmt we are expanding, it will be again the same. So if we are taking the same message signal cos, if we take sine, then we have to take here also sine, vm sine of omega t. But since we have taken the input message signal as a cos, we are writing it accordingly. Okay, dt. Now what is the integral of cos? It is simple sine divided by the internal, you can say differentiation, that goes down, so omega mt will go down, and this is the equation for frequency modulation. So if we have a same message signal, this is the equation that we will get for phase modulation, and this is the equation we will get for frequency modulation. I'll have to come back to this slide, because if we have to implement this in Simulink, we'll need these mathematical equations. Okay, okay, now this is again, what we'll do is we'll write a parameter called as modulation index. Okay, modulation index here, now don't need this first equation, it may confuse you. This m is the modulation index. In phase modulation, it is capital K times Vm, capital K times Vm. Okay, while as in the frequency modulation, it is that parameter that was outside the outside the sine value, that is k1 Vm by omega m. Okay, so now you can see, because we have to focus on frequency modulation, I am repeating the equations. Okay, Vc cos of omega ct, k1 Vm by fm, this is the same equation. Then k1 Vm, it can also be written as frequency deviation. This can also be written as frequency, maximum frequency deviation. Okay, now what, this is the overall maximum frequency deviation. Okay, Now this again, theta, you can say delta, sorry, delta f divided by fm is also defined as the modulation index in frequency modulation. So that is why I have written m here. Okay, why this is delta f, and twice of delta f will be the bandwidth of the overall modulated frequency modulation. Okay, you will deal with this in detail in the theory classes. So this is overall mathematics in one table for frequency modulation and phase modulation. You see the modulated wave here is k1 Vm by Fm, while as here it is k Vm cos. Okay, and accordingly deviation is kvm, while as here it will be in hertz, here it will be in theta or radians, and you can convert this radians into hertz easily, because 1 radian per second is equal to 0.16 hertz. You can write it down or you can know it. 1 radian per second is equal to 0.16 hertz, and you can do that conversion accordingly. Okay. Now what I have done basically here is I have taken a carrier 10 megahertz. Okay, I have taken a carrier 10 megahertz. This is 10 megahertz. Okay, and then I have also taken a baseband signal 1 megahertz, and then done the frequency modulation. Okay, when we frequency modulate it, we get something like this. Very important. We get compressions and rarefactions. You can say that is at higher values of. This is how we can see it. But only sometimes we will see it like this. Actually, we will see it like I showed it in the earlier picture. Okay, we'll show both of those via oscilloscope. But first, let me tell the general waveform. So when the amplitude of the modulating signal is high, they are closer. Closer means they will have higher frequency, and when the value is -1, that is slow, it will have a lower frequency, higher time period, and accordingly it varies. Now, when we this is the time domain analysis. When we do FFT of this and we see the frequency modulation spectrum of this particular power spectral density, we see something like this. Okay, where this frequency is what? This frequency is 10 megahertz. Okay, for the central one. And these are the different, you can see harmonics or the different things that we get. For this, you will have to do the detailed mathematical analysis where Bessel's function will be implemented. And then you can multiply the Bessel function with the voltages and see that table for different values of M. You will get it. You will do that in detail in the theory class. But since you haven't studied it, so we'll have to simplify the analysis a little bit. We can do that. So we'll be doing the basics. So this is for M is equal to 4, modulation index 4 and modulation index 1. I know that these two things will be a little difficult for you to understand, but just for the sake of completion, because later you may be able to relate to it, I have just talked about it. Okay, but here till this portion, it must be very much clear to you. Okay. Okay, this was something about the theory, but this is not a theory class. This is a lab class. Okay, so we'll quickly shift to the lab, but before that let me tell you this important thing. I'll have to come back to this when we start MATLAB. We have a signal. Okay, now this is the signal, this one. Can you see my cursor? Please reply.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the amplitude and this is the time. Okay, and this is the signal. Okay, this signal is there. What can we tell from this signal? How its amplitude is varying with respect to time, isn't it? Here it has a higher value peak, then it's going down here, down. This is the lowest point, this is the topmost point, only this thing. When we see it in the time domain. But actually what this signal is, it is a combination of different frequencies. Okay, and then you can see the amplitude only. It is similar analogy to a tall person in a row. A tall and a fat person in a row, so or in a line. So what you will see usually if that person is there, so you will see the head of that person at the top. You have to see the rest will be only covered. Rest of the students of smaller height will cover his body, while as you will see only his head. So similar things are happening here. But if you see it not on the time scale but on the frequency scale, you will see that this signal you are seeing has different frequency components. this being one with this amplitude, this being another one with this amplitude, and this being another one with this amplitude. So if we need to know the details of any signal, we should also know its frequency spectrum. How we do that is the Fourier method that ma'am has discussed you as an introductory thing. Today in MATLAB, we will write us different type of signals, okay? And for that signal, we will plot the power spectral density based on MATLAB code, and that will be given to you as an assignment that for different type of signals, any random signal, for example 5 cos 50t plus 6 cos 90t plus 6 square, a square wave also, a cosine wave, a sec wave, different type of waves, and then plot their correspondingly power spectral density in the frequency, plot their frequency domain. Okay, so this will be done, but this is just the introduction. Now let me go to the lab work, what we do in the hardware lab. The frequency modulation scheme works mathematically. Any doubts till now? Please give me some feedback or any questions. Yeah.
In amplitude modulation, we used to say that when we'll get the modulating signal, its envelope will be like that of the message signal. So
Yeah.
here also it's the same in frequency modulation, that the envelope is like the message signal.
No. We because we are not changing the amplitude of the carrier, we are changing its frequency. How we'll detect it at the later stage will be the demodulation part. We also use sometimes envelope detectors here also in the frequency demodulators also. But talking about that at this initial stage, it will go above your head. You know, your antenna will not be able to catch it because you don't know the basics of modulation. While your question actually it is about demodulation, because envelope detection there was used not in the modulation but in demodulation, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Here also we can use the envelope detector, but how it comes about, how we change this frequency change, we can change it to amplitude change, and then via a simple envelope detector we can detect it. We can. How we do it is the demodulation part. Today we have to only stick to frequency modulation, and we will demodulate the signal later on. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right. Pleasure. Okay then. Any further questions? I'll just take one question at a time, okay, in one session. So you can also type in the chat. Now we have to shift to, okay, another variation of the class today. This will be the most interesting part. So please, all of you, be alert. Now, one good thing with this online thing is that you can use different sources directly, okay? That is what I'll be doing, okay? Makes teaching fun. Now, I told you frequency modulation. सर होता कैसे है ये? कौन करता है इसको ऐसे modulate? ये practically हम realize कैसे करते हैं? For that you have to go to electronics. For that you have to go to electronics. Message signal will be given by the audio oscillator. ठीक है, ऑडियो ऑसिलेटर बोले तो हम अपना माइक्रोफोन भी यूज कर सकते हैं. माइक्रोफोन में जब हम बात करें तो हमारा एनालॉग सिग्नल वही आगे जाएगा. ठीक है, तो however in the kit we have an audio oscillator that will give us the frequencies in sine of what, of this will give us pure sinusoidal. लेकिन हमारा स्पीच सिग्नल जो है वो प्योर साइनोसॉइडल नहीं होता है. हमें एक ऑडियो, we have an audio oscillator will give us frequencies in the audio domain but as sine waves, while as our speech it is not actually, or simple audio mp3s you listen, these are not actually sinusoidal, these are of different frequency components, okay, different tones as we say. अब ये this is the message signal that we have from the audio oscillator, okay, with a lesser frequency. This we have to send somewhere using a modulation scheme. दूर कहीं भेजना है. How we'll send it? We will send it over a carrier, okay, carrier. But we have to generate this carrier. For that we'll have a carrier generator, an oscillator, okay, and then we'll have a modulator which will which will take carrier here from the downside and the audio oscillator and do the modulation. and at this output we'll have the FM waveform, modulated waveform, जिसमें frequency will have less and then frequency will be greater, and that compression rarefactions are traveling ahead. Sometimes, however, this output of the FM modulator, this actually happens because how the FM modulator works, its circuitry, its output will be lowered in amplitude due to the some drawbacks of the modulation scheme. ये modulate तो करेगा, frequency कम ज़्यादा देगा, but it may sometimes the modulator may affect the amplitude of the overall FM waveform. For that, we'll require an output amplifier, okay? And the output amplifier will amplify the, you see, this is the input to the FM waveform, input FM waveform, and this is the amplified output signal, okay? And then via an antenna, we can transmit it to the receiver, where the receiver will receive it. Is it okay? Did you understand this simple diagram? Feedback, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how does this modulator work? चलो कैरियर भी हमने जनरेट कर दिया, एक फंक्शन जनरेटर यूज किया या एक ऑसिलेटर यूज किया, क्रिस्टल ऑसिलेटर, और यहां से भी ऑडियो ऑसिलेटर. ये मॉड्यूलेटर क्या करेगा? For that we have to check this. Now we have three types of the modulators. Okay, we have three types of modulators, particularly those used in our kit. One will be the varactor modulator. Here it is. Okay, varactor modulator. Okay, varactor modulator. Varactor modulator. And another one will be the reactance modulator. Okay. Now, how both of these modulations work is similar, simple and similar. Okay. They both include an RF oscillator. RF oscillator to generate the carrier. ठीक? Done. This is the RF circuitry. Okay. In this RF circuit, this is a tuned circuit and has a resonance. How this work will be a separate discussion of physics and pure electrical and electronics. Okay. I hope that you know the basics of this from 12th, that the frequency generated by this parallel LC circuit is what? This one is 1 by 2 pi root of LC. Okay. If somehow in the capacitance, if somehow in this capacitance we are able to add extra capacitance, what will happen to the frequency? Okay, when we make capacitor, when we take resistors in parallel, what happens to the overall resistance? It increases or decreases? It decreases, isn't it? But what happens to the capacitance? It gets directly added, C1 plus C2, is it? So that is what will happen if we take extra capacitance. Somehow we make an extra capacitance to grow here, somehow by some technique. What will happen to capacitance? It will increase. And what will happen to the frequency? It will decrease. So based on this capacitance, if we have a capacitance, normal capacitance C, and we sometimes increase it and sometimes decrease it, what we can do to the frequency of this RF tuned circuit? We can increase it and we can decrease it, isn't it? So now how will we make this sort of a capacitance to be practically viable in our circuit? Okay, for that we have two techniques. Okay, so this is what it is again saying, is that if we increase the capacitance, frequency will decrease, and if we increase the capacitance, the value will decrease. Okay, based on the frequency. Okay, now how to implement it? How to implement this extra capacitance? Okay, for this we'll have the two types of modulators. One will be called varactor diode based, and another will be called simply what we called here. One will be varactor modulator. It will have a varactor diode. Okay, and the another one will be reactance. It will have simple RC circuit with a transistor. So varactor modulator has what? As an inbuilt circuit of diode, which will be implementing the capacitance, while as reactance modulator, as we will be seeing, the extra capacitance added there to increase and decrease the capacitance and thereby affect the frequency will be done by the transistor. Okay, now let us go to the first type, that is the varactor diode. Okay, in the varactor diode is a simple semiconductor diode that is designed to behave as a voltage controlled capacitor. It is employed usually in the reverse bias. Okay, so now how it works is that if low voltage is applied, reverse bias voltage is applied, what happens? This is simple 12th based semiconductor study. if we make a low reverse bias voltage to any diode, what will happen? It will have a lower depletion width. Lower depletion width will mean, shabash, lower depletion width will mean C is equal to A epsilon naught by D. Lower width will mean higher capacitance. Higher capacitance included will mean less frequency. While as if we increase the voltage applied, okay, then what we'll have? We'll have a wire conducting region, wider region of depletion. It will have less capacitance and more frequency. So how now we put it there? Okay, now this is the circuit of what? ये जो modulator है. Okay, now let me go to actual figure. Okay, this is our kit. Okay, can you check it? This is our kit. Here we have the audio oscillator or the speech signal. Okay, its frequency is 30 hertz to 3 kilohertz around. Okay, then we have these three types: reactance modulator, varactor modulator, and frequency modulator. Is it okay? The varactor modulator will have its internal circuitry, reactance modulator will have its internal circuitry, and this IC, VCO based frequency modulator will have its own internal circuitry. So we'll first study the internal circuitry of this reactance modulator and the varactor modulator. Okay, and then we'll have also the detectors. Okay, now this is the circuit of the varactor modulator. We have this, what is this? RF choke, you can say. It will provide us, this RF tuned circuit which will provide us with the frequency. And here we have to put a capacitor. This is the circuit. The information signal will be put at the base of a transistor. Now this will amplify it a little bit and make a 180 phase shift, and we'll have a signal. The information signal at the base will get changed to 180 phase shift, and it will be here at the collector also. At the collector we have an RF choke. Why is that there? Is that it will allow what? It will allow this voltage to come in. Okay, we can check that also. And we'll have a capacitance also. This capacitance is that the DC can't connect between this circuit and whatever is coming here to particularly from the supply, any DC is coming. So it is going to bypass that. Now keeping all those electrical parameters into consideration, what we'll have is the information signal essentially coming at here, at the diode, okay, this varactor diode across this. So when it will be a very high value of voltage, at that time varactor diode will have one capacitance because its barrier width will be 1. While as when the information signal will be minus or another value, it will have a different type of a capacitance or no capacitance at all. So accordingly, we can change the frequency of this circuit. Okay. This is what it will do to it. Okay. And then we'll get the frequency spectrum. We'll get something like this. Okay. Also, another one is the reactance modulator. This was the varactor modulator, where we used what? Here we used a varactor diode, and the information signal after amplification from the transistor, it came to the base of that. Okay. Here, however, we have another type of a circuitry where the information signal is fed at the base via using a particular RC biasing scheme, and this overall transistor will act as a capacitor. How that is, that will be detailed electrical analysis. But for simplification, you can understand here that overall this circuit will behave as a capacitor depending upon this information signal. How? Because you can say this transistor is nothing but back-to-back connection of two diodes. So here the information signal and the biasing scheme will be such that it will make this overall circuit to act like a voltage controlled capacitor. Okay, so it is connected to here. But in AC analysis, if you have studied electronics 1 and electronics 2, So instead of sending it to this 0 volt, we can send it also to plus, because if we are doing the AC analysis, if we are doing DC analysis, then obviously these two can't be shorted together because these are of different DC volts. But if we are doing AC analysis, instead of, because these two are of same AC, so instead of connecting it down here, we can connect it to top, and connecting to top means that these two will be parallel. So that is one and the same thing. So that is what we wanted, that depending upon the input information signal, we have a capacitance that will be in parallel with the capacitance of this LC circuit that is providing us with the frequency. So this is the, you can say, the overall functioning of these two modulators and how they give us the frequency modulated signal is that we take any frequency generator, particularly of the LC type, or different types. Particularly easier to understand is the LC type. And if we can change the capacitance, we will change 1 by 2 pi root LC. That is, we change the frequency of the device. Now another one will be VCO based frequency modulator. This will be a simple IC and it will give us different values. I'll just show you the third one. And I will not go into the details of this one. These were the two we discussed. Varactor was diode based, reactance was transistor based, and the frequency modulator was Shabash, it is the IC based. Okay. Now, very important point I am going to tell you. This is very important. Maybe in the theory class you may skip this point. This is particularly important to understand from the practical demonstration type of practical demonstration. What is that is, you see audio oscillator. Can you see? Please give me feedback. Can you see this figure?
Yes, sir.
See the audio oscillator, is it 300 hertz to 3.4 kilohertz? Is it? Keep your mic on. Okay, so that I get some feedback. Okay. Yes, you keep the mic on. Okay, I'll need some reply so that I get encouraged. Now this is the reactance modulator. Its frequency is from 455 plus minus 3 kilohertz. So 455. This is maximum 4 kilohertz, and this is 400 kilohertz. So 400. So this is 1 to 100 ratio. Is it? Is it?
Yes, sir.
In terms of frequency, I'm saying 1 to 100 ratio. Is it? Here also in the varactor modulator, 1 to 100 ratio. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But in the IC type, what is the ratio? You see, we can change it from 10 kilohertz to 200 kilohertz. It is 4 kilohertz. It is 10. Only double.
Yes.
Is it? Yes. Yeah. So when you see the figure, don't get confused, because in labs we see, sir, ये figure ही नहीं आ रहा है, sir, ये waveform ही नहीं आ रही है. So you don't get confused. Actually, why they are showing this reactance and varactor is because actually when we frequency modulate, we get signals like this. But to analyze them is difficult in the lab. But these scientific people, they have provided us with both types. The practical one, the actual one in the realizable world will be this type of modulation. But usually in books, we are used to which type, because this is easier to analyze, isn't it? We provide this one. But for this, what is the stringent requirement? To see this type of wave, we require carrier double or 3 times or 10 times. While as actually, why is carrier used? So that its high frequency is utilized, isn't it? So in actual world, we'll have the waveform like this. But to see it, to demonstrate it, we'll have to sometimes compromise on the carrier and use a lesser frequency, because the frequencies of 2 should be within range to see the effect of frequency modulation. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So that is why in whichever book you read, good standard book, they will show sometimes this thing as frequency modulation and sometimes as this. So the student gets confused and he says, ये क्या है, दो waveforms है, कभी दिखा रहे हैं कि frequency, sometimes it is less and high, and sometimes you have this type of, can you see the cursor?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you have this waveform, sometimes you have this. Nothing to be confused about. This is actual world. Actual world में जब हम frequency modulate करते हैं, हम चाहते हैं कि frequency, carrier frequency should be as high as possible. So this will be practical, how it will be in the world. But to see it pleasant to the eye, the demonstration, we'll have a lesser carrier frequency so that we see the frequency modulation and demodulation clearly. Okay. Now let me come to the demonstration, because if I explain this IC, for that I will need a data sheet to download the data sheet. That will take too much time. and this lab will go up till 2. Okay. So, and if I go into the details, I hope the overall working of this reactance modulator little bit, the idea you got, how we modulate it actually in a circuit, is it?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts? Any doubts in these two reactance modulator, except the fact of that transistor, how that transistor becomes a capacitor, how that diode becomes a capacitor. That is detailed electrical engineering analysis. I'm saying if you agree that that happens, then is it okay? Because you're not going to study electrical engineering. You are just going to study how it will do it. In that terms, do you agree with it? Okay, do you agree? Yeah. Okay. Now let me go with the demonstration then. I'll speak because the audio may not be that. This is the kit that we have in the NIT lab. Okay. The demodulation will be done in the rest. Another one important thing in this kit is here we have the message signal. Okay, I'll repeat again. Then we have modulator select. We click it, we'll get different LEDs selected that will tell which of the reactance modulator is activated. Okay. Then we have an amplifier, as I told you. Okay. Why is the amplifier used? Because the output of these these modulators, particularly these two, is sometimes very low. Is sometimes very low as it gets affected by the difference in frequencies. That is too much technical details. That is not worth sharing at the initial stages. But simply you remember is that the reactance modulator will have a and the varactor modulator will have some effect on the amplitude, and then we amplify it, okay, and then send. However, here the Scientech people have done a good thing. They have also put a mixer here. So this circuit works as a mixer as well as an amplifier. So that if we are replicating this as a, you can say, if we are replicating this as a medium of transmission, then we can put in a noise signal here also, or we can put another square wave here, other type of input, so it will see the effect of that signal. Then we have an amplitude limiter to limit the effect of that noise signal. This amplitude limiter will do nothing, but it will remove the effect of that extra noise on the signal, and then we will get what? A better signal here at the output, and then it will go to the different detectors. Here, unlike in the amplitude modulation scheme, we have everything incorporated in one setup. Okay, so we have the demodulators also here in this setup. Okay, that is what I am seeing in this particular video. Okay, demonstration. Now let me show you some signals. I am showing you the input and the output now. Okay. You see at top we have this blue signal, green-blue signal. This is the message signal. Okay. This is the message signal, and what we are getting at the output is what? We are getting the frequency modulated signal. Okay. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but is it clearly visible? As I told you, the frequency differences are huge. Okay. So, one important thing that I told you that we'll just check here in this. What am I changing? I am decreasing the value of the Shabash, I am decreasing the value of the VM modulating signal. So what is happening? Can you see any difference in frequencies? In the two frequencies? No. Only one frequency. While as when I increase the modulating, there is an increased difference. Why is that? That is so because of this thing. That is so because of you see here. What is this VM? If this gets increased, the effect of VM effect on the frequency of the overall modulated signal will be more. So that is why you are able to see clearly the rare fractions and the compressions. While as when the modulating frequency is low, modulating signal is less in amplitude, we'll get accordingly the things. Okay. So this is, but you can't appreciate it clearly here. Okay, in fact, this scheme will have the best signal looking something like this. I've just taken the snapshot of this on the, okay. So you see here it, this one, the first two, reactor diode type and reactance modulator. Its best analysis is done via this thing. Just like here, just as I told you in theory also, here the best analysis is done like this. So what, how will you see the frequency deviation? Okay, okay, this is, you take this one, okay, okay, as the T minimum, and this one as T maximum, and whatever is in between, okay, these different values. And then you can correspondingly see here also they are increasing. Here they will increase further, okay. So this is how the frequency modulation can be studied here, okay, in this case, okay. As I was already telling you, here it will be like this, okay. Here it will be like, this, okay. While as here, because the difference in frequency is less, we can clearly see now. So that I will also demonstrate now, okay. Let me demonstrate. This is what, which type? This is the IC based, which has a lesser difference in frequency. So our oscilloscope will be able to replicate it in a better manner. Okay? Why these two types are available? One is for demonstration, and another is for seeing how the actual frequency modulation will happen. Now here you see, can you see it clearly here? Much more clearly, is it?
Yes, sir.
You see when I decrease the amplitude?
Yes, sir.
Now here you see, what am I doing? What am I doing? Did I do anything to the VM? No. I am just because I am not focusing my camera on the DSO. What am I doing actually on the kit is I am changing this frequency. This frequency. Okay. Now this is, I am keeping it in the range to, I'm not keeping it 200 kilohertz so that the difference is high. When I keep it within the range, it will have one effect, and when I keeping it away, it is more clearer. Okay, I mean to say, when the frequency of the carrier and the frequency of this message signal, it is not too high, we'll be able to see it clearly. So that is one effect. And then the other thing that I will show you is the effect of the message signal again. See, nothing is happening to the message signal. No? Now message signal. Now when amplitude will be less, the deviation is less or high? Deviation is less, because compressions और rarefactions में या less frequency और ज़्यादा frequency में ज़्यादा clear फर्क नहीं है. इसी को हम कहेंगे, this is what we will call that the frequency deviation is less. While as when amplitude is high, frequency is high, the deviation is high. That is the contrast between the lower frequency and the higher frequency is more. Okay. I kept it at the center, okay, around 100. Okay. Another thing is the detector that will be taken in the next, about I'll just show you the details about those, how the different type of detectors work. Now here I have the signal. Here we'll have different type of detectors: quadrature detector, detuned to resonance, Foster-Seeley phase, and the log type. Okay. Now at the output, important is how the detectors will work. The detectors will have their own practical circuitry, the practical circuitry will have some non-linear effects or non-ideal effects to be real. So we'll get, sometimes we'll get signals which will be little disturbed, okay, disturbed signals, sometimes like this. So at the output we have a low pass filter, okay, so it will remove all the, you can say, different frequency components and only keep the main frequency component in the signal. So we'll get a clearer waveform. Every detector has at its last stage an added low pass filter to remove the harmonics. Those harmonics, why will they come into picture? Because of the non-ideality of the detector. Okay. You have no different type. Now you will get on the oscilloscope different type of signals at the bottom at the receiver. Why? Now this is the modulating signal and this is the received signal. Sorry, this is the message signal at the top yellow, and this is what we receive after demodulation. How demodulation will happen is in the next lab, dedicated next lab. But today we'll just see it. Okay. Now for different detectors. Okay. One detector will show some. Now you can say at higher values it will clip it. It will act as a clipper at the top. So then again when we tune it, okay, you see I am tuning what the RF, the this RC filter at the last stage. So it is changing this square type of peak. It is removing the saturation at the top, and it is giving us the pure signal at the top by removing the signal. Have you studied the Fourier series in the class?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you have to write the Fourier series of a square wave, what does it have? It has a pure sinusoidal and plus many harmonics, isn't it? So what this RC filter will do, how it changed this square into this by simply changing the tuner on the RC at the last stage, the filter at the last stage, is by removing, it will remove the different harmonics. How it will remove the different harmonics? By changing the capacitance values, because the capacitance values will be removing the different harmonics and acting as a low pass filter, only allowing the center frequency to be existent. So is it clear? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
No, actually, I'm repeating it because sometimes my net connection goes off. So please, the CR, she may call me, okay? Whoever is, no, because this time sometimes the light may get off and my connection might evaporate. So please tell me at that time, okay? So this is all regarding the demonstration. But now some question time, okay?
Sir?
Yeah, you can ask.
Sir, we did that in the diagram related to
Yeah.
deviation. So deviations can be high because by changing two things, either the amplitude is less, so the deviation amplitude of the signal, or the that frequency modulation IC based, we can increase its frequency. So there are two ways
Hmm.
by which we can increase the deviation, or there are other ways also.
Yeah. No. Deviation, I mean, we have a message signal, okay?
Yes, sir.
For this, you need to understand why we need to do the modulation itself. Modulation is, there's a requirement of modulation. Because we can't simply send a signal from one place to another place because its power will get lost and we have to do different things wirelessly transmitting it. So we have the modulation schemes, okay? In that, there are two types. One is we change for the carrier. I told you in the first slide itself, I told you. Maybe you joined a little late. I told you that the carrier or any analog signal, particularly the carrier, has three important parameters. Any analog signal. How we define an analog signal? What are its properties? For example, how we define, we can say the physical characteristics of any human being. Height, we can say different characteristics are there. Okay, so similarly, for an analog signal, we have frequency as one parameter, which will then also tell how much power it has. Another one will be the amplitude. It will tell us about some intensity, how much its intensity is. So we can change only these parameters. The phase, okay, these three
Yes,
important
sir.
properties we change. The phase, the
Frequency and
frequency,
amplitude.
amplitude of the carrier based on the information signal. And at the detector, from the carrier, we remove that carrier part and we only take the carrier. You can say is like just a, you can say an airplane. Okay, in airplane we sit and we reach some place and then we deport, we get out from it and we use it only. So similarly, a carrier is just used to send the message signal across, and at the detector we'll have different detection schemes to detect the message signal from the overall modulated signal. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure. Okay, now is the time for very interesting lab sessions. Okay, to see these things, how we can modulate them. Okay, Okay, now let us, this is done a little bit. Okay. I have done some basic experiments in this. Now let me start. As I told you that I will be talking about, yeah, I'll be talking about what? This frequency spectrum, okay? Now, as I told you, here you can see it. This one, huh? We have this signal and we want to check it in frequency domain by the power spectral density. For that, I have used some MATLAB code and I will be discussing the details of this MATLAB code. But here you can't see it, so I'll make sure I copy it, paste it here. Now you can see all of you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So Clear CLC, it's a good practice to use this in most of the, you can say, what we call them, the programming languages or programs.
Compilers.
Yeah, compilers. Yeah. That is the actual word, compiler. Why is it so? Because sometimes when we use the input command, that time without these three commands, clear CLC, close all, the figures and the other things will not come up in the command prompt, particularly talking about the MATLAB compiler. So this is a good practice to keep clear CLC, close all as the top three commands in MATLAB. Then we have set up a sampling frequency. Okay, the sampling frequency will tell us how many intermediate points we have in between the time domain axes. Okay, so you see this command? Are you seeing this command?
Yes, sir.
We are defining the time axis or the horizontal axis, okay, which is from 0 to 1 seconds, okay, and 1 by fs will be the sampling frequency. That means from 0 to 1 we have divided it into 1 by 1200 points, so we'll get a smooth curve. Whatever we will now plot, the time axis is such that it will, we can use linspace command also for this. Linspace, we'll use it for another program, but here we are using it as t. Okay, now now we are defining our signal. Okay, that is by the variable x. Okay, variable x, that signal is this signal. Now let me first, you can say, delete this one or control X. Let me delete it here. Okay, let me delete it. I'll keep a simple sinusoidal. Okay, then I'll use another command here. I have made it as a comment. Simple another command y. It will be x plus a random noise being added to this x signal. That is the sinusoidal signal. Okay, and this random noise signal is distributed throughout the time axis. That is, it is continuously distributed through the overall structure. Are you getting it? What I'm trying to say? We have defined the variable x as a sinusoidal. Okay, any issues? Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then to that signal x, which is a pure sinusoid, I am adding a random noise by this, by adding this thing, RANDN size t, distributed throughout the whole size. This is the syntax how we use a random noise signal. Okay, throughout
So what is
the
size of T?
size of t is throughout t, it will get distributed, the random noise. Size of t minus 0.5 we can write, t minus 0.7 we can write, but size t means throughout the time the random noise will be superimposed over the sinusoid, over this sine. Okay, we'll see that on the figure. Okay, then we use, yeah, please.
I said okay.
No, you can ask, feel free.
No, sir, I had the question about the size and you explained, so I was just saying okay.
The size, you can write size t minus, what is the time here? 1, isn't it? Is maximum value of time is 1, isn't it? So you can write t minus 0.5. So it will be for the first 0.5. seconds, or you can write 0.5 directly. But here usually, because we want this random noise will be throughout time, it is actually like this, so we usually don't write a different size. It is usually a good practice to write it for the whole time. Okay. Then a subplot. Okay, if we have to plot any figure in MATLAB, there are different things by which we can do that. One thing mostly followed is subplot. Okay, sorry, plot. So we have to plot. What we will plot? We'll plot, for example, x. Okay, we'll plot value of x, and its values will be from 1 to 100. 1 to 100. What is this subplot? Subplot means we'll have subplot 3 comma 1 comma 1 will mean 3 rows, 1 column, and at the top this figure will be at the top. So let me first do this part of the code. Okay, wait a minute. Let me do this part of the code. Okay. Now what is this? This is a sine wave, isn't it? But little disturbed. Why is it disturbed? Because we added random noise to it. Okay, let me remove some random noise to it. Okay, and let me not plot it. What will I do? I will make a comment of this. Okay, this symbol, and here I will not plot y, I will plot x. Okay, now what will should come? We will plot x, and x is simply sinusoidal, so we'll get a sinusoid, pure sinusoid. But we don't need a pure sinusoidal, we need some different things in it. Okay, so that we'll also come to know how the real picture works. Okay, why? Okay, this thing is there, and we'll get this thing. Okay, then what we'll do, up till this it is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we need to see its frequency domain. Okay, how we'll do that? For frequency domain, what we need to do? Frequency transform, yeah, Fourier transform. So that is done here using the FFT. Using the FFT. Okay, FFT of Shabash. FFT of Y. Okay, and 256. 256 is the values on the x-axis. Okay, values on the x-axis. This will be then depending upon what type of values on the x-axis you will want. We'll see that on the figure. Then we'll also plot the power spectral density. As ma'am might have told you in the class, that it is nothing but what we get from the Fourier transform, that multiplied by its conjugate, and we are normalizing it by any parameter. And here when we calculate it for our given values of sine wave, the 50 frequency and the other things, we'll have to divide it by 300. Then we plot the x-axis here. Now what is the x-axis here? Shabash, it is nothing but the frequency, and that here comes about to be fs, that is the sampling frequency, this sampling frequency divided by whatever we take the Fourier transform on the x-axis as, that is 256. You can take the different values and then distribute it by the different parameter set and plot it accordingly. Okay, as you have to plot it from 0 to 127, and here we are taking it 1 to 128, and accordingly it will plot. So let me plot it after some further discussions here. Let me plot it here. Okay, I'll discuss it in detail. I'll not make the final plot, I'll just make this. Yeah, we got it now. What is it showing us? 1 minute. You see, it will be showing us the power spectral density as calculated. What was the frequency component of this? 50T, is it? See here, 2 pi 50T. So that is what it will be showing us here. Where is it? Yeah, here it will show us at 50. Okay, at almost 50 it will have its frequency component. What is this? This is the value of the PhD, as we will calculate it via Simulink also. Now this is further subject to the mathematics that is involved there. So accordingly, you have to deal with it, the different parameters that are there. Now let me tell you something about these parameters little bit. We are doing the FFT on the x-axis to 256 points. Okay, 256 points. Then we are multiplying this value by the conjugate to get the power spectral density and normalizing it to 300 so that it gets within the range of the scope. Okay, this will again depend upon when you calculate the power spectral density of this X signal, sinusoidal signal. Okay, and then we are also plotting the x-axis as f and normalizing it to 256 and taking the different points 0 to 127, and accordingly this scheme of things will be done. See, don't say. Okay, this was one program. If there are any doubts with regards to this, particularly these different values that are there, maybe I'll make a separate, you can say, video where I will also do the complete mathematical analysis and calculate the values of the power spectral density, and then accordingly tell you what different units we have to put there, and accordingly. Okay. So this is one example where we just saw the power spectral this density plot. Okay, then this one let me show you. Okay, now this one. This is a frequency modulation. Okay. We are defining the different parameters here. Okay, let me come to this equation from where I got it from. You see this equation? This is the equation for what? Shabash. This is the equation for frequency modulation. This is K1, there I have written KF, F denoting frequency, the frequency sensitivity. Okay, so that is what it is here. KF, I have taken it as 14. Okay, for a particular example, based on whatever example you are given, accordingly you will have to change this value in the same code for the exam, and then be told accordingly to show the different analysis, hopefully. Then AM, I am taking the amplitude as 1 volt. Okay, the frequency I am taking of the modulating signal as a value of 2. Okay, any value 2. And then I'm plotting this value beta. Beta is nothing but m, small m, modulation index. Okay, that's its value is kf am by fm. Okay, so that value can be taken it accordingly as was there in the equation. Then here I define the x-axis as time. Okay, 0 to 1 with 500 samples in between. 0 to 1 with 500 samples in between. Then I define the carrier. AC is equal to 1, FC is equal to 20. So I take its frequency how many times? How many times? 10 times. because I have to showcase it. Okay, and that is why in the kit also you saw that we were able to see the better picture in which one, the IC based modulator, because there we could vary it from 10 to 20 to 30 times, while as the actual scheme of the varactor and the reactance had values of hundreds. So that if we do that here also, we'll not be able to see the clearer picture. Okay, so we have kept it as 20. Then we have written the equation. What is the equation of SFM? That equation we have written, this one. Nothing special, we have written this equation. Simply, okay? We have written this equation cos here and sine here, okay? However, what is the message signal? Shabash, what is the message signal? Sine, kept it as such. Or was it cos? What was it? It was cos, isn't it? Message signal was cos, then due to integration, it was getting changed to sine. Wasn't it getting changed to sine because of the integration, isn't it?
Yes.
Is it? Yeah. So these two we'll write accordingly. Okay. And then we'll make plot after taking all these values. Okay. Subplot 1, subplot and subplot. In the subplot 313, that is at the bottom, we'll have the frequency modulated signal. At 2, in the middle, we'll have the modulating signal, and at the top, we'll have the carrier. Okay. So let me do it. Okay, it's not showing a good thing for the what? It's not showing a good thing for the because I have forgotten to write cos here. Okay. Okay, now is it showing the frequency modulation? Is it showing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the
Now,
first one is the carrier wave, then
Yes, sir.
we have the second one is the message signal, and then the frequency modulation, right?
yeah, exactly. So you can see here clearly. And then even in MATLAB, you can plot it in a very better manner. You can do all the things as dots, etc. But here, you can put the labels also. But I am not taking too much time to just make it presentable or beautiful. I am just talking about the technical things little bit, what we can change and all. Okay. Now, what if we do one thing? If we increase this AM little bit, okay, and I make it 1.2, what should happen, or 1.1, let me take it. What should happen to this? What should happen to this? Tell me.
Deviation should be less because amplitude is increasing.
No, deviation should be more. By deviation, what do we mean? By deviation, we mean that these compressions and these rarefactions will be more. Why will the frequency deviation be more? Because I talked that in detail in the class here.
Yes.
Because
yes,
this, if we increase this value, the effect on the phase and on the frequency will be more, as I talked about detail here. You see?
Yes, I said the opposite. Yes.
Yeah, no issues. But this is the frequency deviation. So K is the sensitivity and VM. If we increase K, we should get it more, and if we increase VM, we should get it more, the frequency deviation. And what does frequency deviation mean? That means the eminent difference between the closing in and the spreading, that is the compression and the rarefaction, will be more. Okay, so that is, I'll try to demonstrate that if MATLAB will be able to replicate that. So I have made it just 1.1 and made it little more, 15. Okay, let me try. I have not tried it. Let me try if it shows it. It should. Is it? Yeah. You see here?
Yes, sir.
A very large time difference here. So that, what does that mean? That means the deviation has increased. And then whatever value of how you will now, important thing. How you will calculate the frequency deviation? How you will calculate? If you have to note it down, how will you calculate? You will have to simply check in this thing. That is correct. Okay, that KF you are giving, AM you are giving. But here we are writing the code in the kits that are there. For example, if this kit is there, we are using this kit. How you will calculate it? Here we are writing code, but in kit, how we can use it? Here in kit. Yeah, here. How will we calculate it? Where can we change? There we changed. What can we change? We can't change here because this is everything which is inside the reactance modulator, the sensitivity. We may at maximum just change the audio oscillator. How will we calculate the spread here? Now you see how we can do it. We'll get this signal. Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. Just give me some little time. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Now, here what you can see F center, F minimum, sorry, yeah, F maximum and F minimum. So F minimum minus F maximum on the oscilloscope will give you what? It will give you the delta F. And if you multiply that delta F by 2, you will get the bandwidth of the frequency modulated signal. Okay. Now, how you can do? You can, if I have taken a snapshot of this, you can take. You see the leftmost corner. You can see it, the leftmost corner, and here you can see the time per division and the volts per division, all those things. But here, main important thing is time per division. How much is this selected here? It is selected as 2 microseconds, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So then you can see here time t1. Okay. After one time period you select. For example, you take it from here till here. Okay. This is what time. Now let me use this one. From here to here. Okay. This is what? This is for one waveform. Okay. And this one is for another one. Okay. And then you take the median of this one in between. So this one will be, sorry for the way I am writing, but I could not find anything in this short time. T minimum, another will be T maximum. Okay, so what will be frequency? 1 by F minimum, sorry, 1 by T minimum minus 1 by T maximum will be equal to delta F. Got it? Did you follow it? You see,
Yes,
this is one, we are taking it from a standard time, this time to this time. So this will be T minimum, this will be T maximum if you are taking it, and then at the center it will be the center frequency. But we will have, so that will be delta F, and that you can then multiply it accordingly, and you can see the different scheme of things at a particular value. So okay then. What about this? Sir, here how we can do? This is where it is little difficult to do. But here you can do it a little easily. In this one. Actually, what you can do here is, 1 minute. I just remembered it. What you can do here is, you have the signal. You click here on the measure, okay? Then you will get different parameters for this frequency, whether it will be on channel 1 or channel 2, and you can click on this measure, and then here you will have different options. There you will also have f maximum and f minimum of any signal. जैसे V maximum और V minimum होता है ना, वैसे of any signal you have V maximum or V minimum, and you calculate those values from that, because in the DSO we have that advantage. So you get delta F there, and accordingly you can select this value. Here, that is the advantage of using a DSO. You don't need to see the time steps, all other things, and how these scheme of things will be working together. Okay, now if we talk about from here to here, okay, for example, let me take this corner here to here, okay, and then we talk about again from this value to this value. It will be a little difficult to take these parameters, so that is why we go for the DSO and calculate it accordingly. Okay, then where were we? So we changed it a little bit. Okay, now what else can we change here? This is easier to analyze, so we usually go for this way of studying things, okay, rather than that thing. Chaliye, you tell me what else we can change. Let me make the frequency again very high. Is it okay? इसको वापस लाते हैं 1, इसको रखते हैं अपना ही 14 स्टैंडर्ड वैल्यू एंड प्लॉट करते हैं again, and it will show less deviation, comparatively less. Are you able to see? अब frequency deviation कम हो गई ना? Deviation कम हो गई. Are you
Yes,
there?
sir.
Why? What did we decrease? We decreased the sensitivity K. K पे भी ये depend है ना इसका modulation index है ना? तो this is so that is why it decreased. Okay.
Sir, increase FC.
Huh? Yeah, I will increase FC, and you will see that you will not be able to recognize it as easily. It will be disturbed, because that I will tell you why you can't see it in practical terms, and the analysis gets difficult. Now, how will you see it? Because sampling, everything is getting disturbed. So you can't just check it here. Also देखो, अब ये यहाँ से यहाँ तक change हो रहा है ना, जबकि frequency बहुत तेज जा रही है. We are not able to see the frequency. Wait a minute.
तो carrier भी नहीं दिखा रहा.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Let me first. You see, there is some difference, okay, but I have changed it not that much, okay, but when I change it, so you can't analyze it. Now I am repeating, you can't analyze it. Why? You see, how much is the frequency here? 50. How much is the frequency here? 2. So this little bit you can manage this on screen, this display. But when that happens, we can't manage this display on screen. So that is why for that we'll need a different kind of an analysis, and we did that via that snapshot that I told you. But usually for analyzing it, we'll have to do this way. And then usually how it will be done, DSO we can use, and for DSO we'll have this option of checking in the different frequency components of a signal, subtract them and check the bandwidth. Okay. So is this enough now?
Yes, sir.
Anything more, you can check it here. But if I now make it, as I increase it, it gets a little difficult to check it. And we'll have to increase the sensitivity of this thing. Then maybe we can check it. Okay. Still, little bit we can see, but not that much. See. So let me plot it back to scale. Are you able to check it? You see here, it is completely not compressions but rarefactions, okay? And here it is peaking. Little difference is there, and I can maybe increase this difference by making it to go to 50. You can see now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the higher frequency component will mean it will need a higher value of KF. If you need to check for a higher difference, देखिए अब शॉर्ट में आप एक चीज याद रखिए, जितना ज्यादा ये डिफरेंस होगी उतना आपको KF को, if you keep all the other parameters same, KF value को, sensitivity of the frequency modulator will need to get increased. But we'll get a better modulation because the carrier will be of a higher power, because if it has higher frequency, it will have higher power. Okay. But for modulation to occur, sensitivity will be needed to increase if we keep all the other parameters the same. But just change the FC, okay? ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, ये हो गया बस. These were the basic things with MATLAB. Now let me show a little bit in Simulink, okay? This is Simulink. You know, talking continuously 2 hours, it's actually you get drained a little bit. So I'll just take some water, okay? ये MATLAB का ही है ना? So in MATLAB, you can go to the command window, okay? ये command window है. Here you write Simulink, SIMULINK. Enter this, you will open the Simulink, okay? But if you don't want like this, you can also open it from the different editors here, okay? That thing also you can do. चलिए हमारा ये तो खुल गया. अब इसमें अगर हमें लाइब्रेरी में जाना है तो this is the place, okay? This icon at the top, library browser. Just click on it. We get the different frequency components, okay? No, sorry, not frequency components. I mean the different components or the blocks that you need to add. Now, what is the most important advantage of Simulink is, if you want to implement any mathematical equation, very complicated mathematical equation, for that you have different blocks here. And you don't need to write any code. So it is much better in terms of the graphical user interface. Are you understanding? Are you understanding?
Yes.
So if we want to implement this equation, for example, I'll try to implement this equation in Simulink. Back. This equation, okay? This one. We'll try to implement this equation later on. But firstly, what I will do is I'll make a simpler analysis. Okay. So if you want to add any block to your example, okay, for example, I want to add this sources. For example, I want to add any step, for example, signal. It will, or right click on it, it will say what? Add or control I. It will say add to FM. Yani whatever Simulink file you have opened, since I have opened what? FM. What is the name of my file is FM. So it will show add to FM. And I add it to FM. You see it will come up there. Okay. And then you can use it. So similarly, what I have used is a sine wave, a FM modulator already there inbuilt, and a scope, the simplest demonstration. Okay, the simplest demonstration. Where did I get this FM modulator from? You can check it here. you can go to communication system, and you can go to modulation, analog passband modulation, and there we have this FM modulator passband. Okay, amplitude modulation, DSB-SV, DSB-AC, you have different types are available. And what I have done here is simply right click and added it to the you can add it to FM. Okay, I have already done that. Now here is this message signal. Okay, amplitude 1, frequency simple 10 hertz. Okay, sample time, is that the sampling frequency, you can say, or the sampling time, how smooth this should come. So the higher the value you write here, higher the value by which you divide it here, the better it is. Okay, you'll get a smoother curve. I'll show you what this sample time can do. Okay, so we'll make it very small. Okay, 1 divided by 10 raised to power 5 or 6, we keep it. Okay, the rest is okay. And then we have this block. Here we give the carrier frequency and the frequency deviation. We give frequency deviation on our behalf here, and I have kept it around 100 here for a 300 carrier frequency. Okay, and 10 hertz. So what is the difference here? I have given only, you can say, 10 times. Okay, 10 or 30 times, not 100 times as was there with the you can say varactor modulator or the reactance modulator. I kept it 30 times, not 100 times. If we give it more than 100 times, then we have to accordingly see the beta and the other values, but to easily give. And then I have given the simulation time here, 2 seconds, simulation stop time. Okay, and then I have put the scope here. Okay, okay, can you check it? ठीक है, higher value frequency is high, lower value its deviation gets accordingly affected. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
You see here also you can see it. By this thing also you can sometimes, you see dark yellow color here and dark yellow color here in the between. That also shows compressions and rarefactions. So an expert, if he sees this thing only, he will not need to what? You can see, he will not need to focus in or zoom in here. By this only he will be able to tell whether it is what frequency or which type of modulation. So accordingly you can see here. Okay, now however this is very simple thing. We are using Simulink and we are telling it कि आपने जो खुद बनाया है FM modulator को किसी भी टाइप से अंदर implement करके ये अंदर क्या क्या blocks हैं, you are not telling it, but this will not satisfy our desire to understand how it works. So what I am doing, I'll try to implement this via mathematics. Okay, this is implementing it via mathematics. Now this is the final part of our study today. So please bear with me. Okay, you all must be tired, as I am also tired speaking for a long time, but please have some patience because this is a very interesting part at the end. Okay, now what we'll do is no code to be written, nothing to be written, but this mathematics, this equation, this second last equation, this equation, because here we have division. This division is creating a little bit of problem for us. It can be also done, but I found it interesting, or mostly it is found to be interesting to implement it like this second last equation, because there is a division coming in between. So to simplify the block addition, we have implemented it in this second last equation. How did we do it in MATLAB? We used the last equation, wrote it mathematically, isn't it? Is that what we did in MATLAB?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but here what we will do is we will use the second last equation, and instead of writing the code and writing the mathematics, we will add the different blocks. We'll add the different blocks. So let me show you how we'll add the different blocks here. Okay. Firstly, I'll use a sine signal. Okay. This is a signal generator. From where will you get the signal generator? You will simply click here and look for the signal generator and add it as a block. Where will you get this gain parameter? You will simply see gain and you will get it. Where you will get this? You will see the adder, you will get this block. Where will you get this? You will see in the library constant and you will get this block. Where will you get this discrete time integrator? You will see in the library right type and integrator, you will get a discrete time integrator there. Okay. Another gain, you will see trigonometry function, you will get a trigonometry function. Type scope, you will get signal generator, you will get a signal generator. Now what I have done here is I have implemented this beta, this whole, I have written it as 200. You can give it any value depending upon what type of frequencies you are giving. I have selected 200, you can type 70 or whatever, like in the previous example 200, and I have used a sine wave. Okay, sine wave here. You can use cos wave, but since I want to check it for different type of inputs, I'll check it for almost all of them. So I am giving the message signal as sine. Okay, this is the message signal. Okay, so where is this? This is the message signal. Okay, instead of cos, I am giving the message. I am implementing this equation. Okay, not this equation, but since there is not availability of cos there, so I am using sine. We can make it by adding a phase difference. That is on a later stage, but here I have used it for a different value. So don't get confused. It is sine here in the example that I have implemented. Okay. Okay. Then I have multiplied it with a gain of 200. What does this 200 mean? This 200 means that this value of K1, okay, this value of K1 value will be equal to how much? 200. Okay. Okay. Then I have used and added it with the carrier frequency, that is 370. You see, we need omega c t plus k Vm sine of, because here sine is omega mt dt. Okay, omega I have given fc. Okay, so if I need fct, what I need to do? Integrate. I have given k1 Vm sine of omega t. If I integrate it, then I will get it accordingly. So that is why I have used a common integrator, because here only omega c. When we integrate it, we get omega ct. I have used fc here. Okay, so you can see, and then put, okay, then I use an integrator, simple integrator. Okay, and integrate, and then given a 2 pi. Why I have given 2 pi? So that fc gets converted to omega c. We can use this 2 pi parameter ahead of the the adder, but for that we'll need two gain parameters, one here and one here. So I have used this gain parameter to convert fc and the frequency here fc here into omega c by using a common gain parameter of 2 pi. Okay, then trigonometric functions, because this overall parameter will get multiplied by what? 2 cos. You can keep this ahead and this later on, one and the same thing, cos 2. What is this cos 2? This is nothing but Vc and cos, which is multiplied to the whole scheme of things. Vc, I have given the peak amplitude of the carrier as 2 and cos is as cos. So we have implemented this equation. Any doubt in this? Shabash. Clear hai? Are you there, connected?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pawan, are you understanding?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
वो जो equation थी,
Sir,
that
वो
equation,
integration.
Yeah, please ask.
in that equation, it was integration of cos. Here we have taken a sine wave. ये वाला
It hardly matters. It hardly matters. I will do it that way also. We have taken different input signal. Can't we take sine as input?
Okay. I
Can't
thought
we
that.
take?
Yes, sir.
Yes. We have taken sine here. Why? Because the others are not available. How we can change it here is not any big deal. You
Yes,
can
sir.
see. You can see. what you will do here, what you can do, I have used signal generator because I wanted to show you different things. Now what you can do, I'll just show it to you how you can do that cost thing also. But because I had to show many different ways, that's why I didn't do it. You can do it like this: sources. What do you need? You need cost. Okay, so you can go here, DSP. You can need sources. You can sine wave. Okay, this is a better way to add it. Okay, now I have this one. You don't have any this phase offset. How you can convert a sine wave to a cos? At 90 here, so it will behave as a cos. Let me do it after this. I'll do this. So let me keep it here only. Okay, because for the sake of that question asked, I have to clear that doubt. Okay, so now is this scheme correct? Rest of the things are correct. Any other doubts? No, any other doubt? Only
Sir,
this one. Okay.
sir,
Yeah, Power, please.
sir, we are using discrete time integrator now. Why we are using discrete time integrator on combined system?
Very, very good question. We can use a simple integrator also. We can use a simple integrator, but the issue with that is we'll have some issues with the settings there. You see here, yeah, good question. I forgot to tell you this. There easily will not have this thing, sample time, because here we are particularly playing with the frequency. And for frequency, the sample time is important. And here we have kept the setting of the sample time very small. Why is sample time important? Sample time is important because we need for what is
Smooth,
sample time?
smooth.
It means that from 0 to 1, we will require these particular parameters. Okay. While as this setting is not available, we can get the values correct by that integrator also. But sometimes in the frequency domain, we'll get a problem. You can try it with the simple integrator also, and hopefully for small values of frequency change, we'll get the correct answer there also. Okay. Can we continue?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. You please try that, and then you can contact me. One of your classmates has my WhatsApp contact. You try that example of giving it to a simple integrator. Like we have a simple integrator here. You can search here integrators. Okay, a simple integrator will be there, and you can do that math operations. Here you will get an integrator. Okay. You check it somewhere, or you can simply type here integrator. ठीक है, integrate different types, integrator limiter. You try it with discrete time integrator as I did it. Okay, so accordingly you can do. So can I continue ahead? Because of the brevity of time, we have less amount of time to discuss about these things. Can then be asked individually. Okay, can I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Can you check it easily? अरे बोलो ना.
Yes, sir.
ये क्या? Again, I told you that you can easily see the by dark and light colors that the frequency is like you can see clearly here. Is it? Okay. Rest, what else can we do now? If we have what type of a message signal we have? Sine, isn't it? So I will tell you why I used sine. If we now have a square one and we want to see how it affects it. Okay, message signal is what? Sine. Sorry, a square now, is it? Square, okay. अब समझ आ रहा है क्या हो रहा है? Okay, now I need to do some changes maybe. Are you getting it, what it's doing to it? You can see. Okay. only two frequencies there. When message signal is -1, higher frequency. When message signal is positive, when it is less value, lower frequency. When it is high, higher frequency. What is at the this bottom is the कैरियर फ्रीक्वेंसी. तो इसमें स्क्वायर में कभी भी कैरियर फ्रीक्वेंसी के बराबर नहीं होगा. FC प्लस डेल्टा एफ और FC माइनस डेल्टा एफ, एंड कांस्टेंट इन दिस टाइम. There it was not constant because here it is 1, here it is -1. 1 -1. So this is how we'll get it. Okay. Another type is ramp. Sawtooth. Okay, can you check it?
Yes, sir.
What is happening? You can clearly see what is happening. Here, the value or the amplitude of the modulating message signal is decreasing. So what should decrease? Frequency. देखो हल्का हल्का से ये decrease हो रहा है. You can do this for one only. Can you see here it is little closer together, isn't it? And here when it is decreasing, these are getting farther apart because the modulating signal is decreasing in value. So frequency is decreasing. Frequency decrease होने का मतलब time period is increasing. Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Is it clear? Okay. Then these are the only parameters that are there. What else can we change? Let me try to change this gain, this amplitude here. Wait a minute. If I change this amplitude a little bit, what should happen? We should see clearly the things, isn't it? Let me try. Hopefully it works. Can you see it more clearly now? Hannah? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Why we saw it clearly? Because amplitude increased, amplitude will increase the modulation index and that will increase the effect of the sensitivity also. ठीक है? अब ये भी increase करते हैं और थोड़ी सी sensitivity भी increase करते हैं तो ज्यादा और ज्यादा दिखेगा. इसमें ज्यादा उतना इफेक्ट नहीं दिखा लेकिन फिर भी दिखा थोड़ा बहुत. ठीक है, तो बट ओवरऑल यू कैन चेक इट. This is there. This is all there for the class. Hopefully you enjoyed it. कैसा था? मजा आया कुछ?
Yes, sir.
चलिए ठीक है. If you have any questions, I think what was her name? Preet. Is she there in the class?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Reet. Sorry. So if anyone has any question or you want some, you can say wants some feedback, you can share my WhatsApp contact with that particular individual and he or she can get back to me and try to do these things. But as far as you being IT and computer science people, I would prefer you do things in MATLAB or even in fact, if you can try these things in Python, the Python code. Because that is what essentially CSC and IT people end up doing. Not all of them, but because data science is now the emerging field. So it's up to you. But I would prefer that you do it in MATLAB. So that because you should get used to writing things in the code format rather than using the graphical user interface. Now, what will be the assignment, how you can do it, what little things will I'll be asking about for you in this lab assignment will not be much. You will hopefully get this video recording in 1-2 days and then you can always look back to it. I'll share some MATLAB code and this Simulink files with you, maybe with OCR, and you can always go back to it. But hopefully you make it little enjoyable, okay? Not that ki mar gaye types, okay? Okay, then how to end this? It will automatically get recorded, is it? I don't have to stop it, is it? or I have to stop it. Let me stop.